Good afternoon and welcome to Wired, energizing conversation for Midland members. I'm Ryan Henn, Director of Communications here at the Co-op. We have actually a really neat special program this afternoon. We have invited Emma McGuigan, our youth tour winner from Roland Story High School, to join us to talk a little bit about the tour. And for those who aren't familiar, the youth tour is one of the really neat things that electric cooperatives do. Each year, kids from all around the country gather in Washington, D.C. to learn more about their government, electric cooperatives, and American history. And it's an opportunity for co-ops to kind of reinforce some of the positive messages and principles that we stand for. And so co-ops generally send one or more kids, usually high school kids, always high school kids, up to Washington, D.C. And here at Midland, we went through a competitive selection process, and Emma was our selection. And so it's my pleasure today to welcome Emma. Emma, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
So a little behind the scenes magic. Emma can't really see what we're doing on the screen. So we've been giving her a little sneak preview of what it's going to look like. And so Emma, tell us a little bit. I know that you went in June. You joined 37 other kids from here in Iowa and headed off to DC. I'm curious, before we kind of get into the trip, what made you want to apply to attend?
Well, my older sister had went on this trip a few years prior, and she had just told me how it was like an amazing experience and that you meet new people. And I thought it'd also be important to go see like where all of our country's important decisions are made.
And when you were kind of thinking about, I know we've talked a little bit about off air about, it's it's a little, I mean, we try to make it as easy as possible to apply. And I'm just curious, your process, you've been through the process. Was it complicated? Was it hard to apply?
It was actually pretty easy to apply. It did take like you have to put some effort into it, but it wasn't too painful.
And we'll show you here in a couple minutes. We'll show you Emma's entry. We did something a little different last year. Typically, we've always asked students to submit an essay question, but we really wanted to open it up because one of the things we're looking for when we look at applicants is academics and all that stuff's important, but we're really looking for personality, and we're really looking for students that we feel like would benefit from the opportunity. And so Emma did something really neat. We'll show that to you in just a minute. But Emma, I wondered if we could take a second. We actually came out and put together a little brief video. And one of the neat things about the youth tour and Roland Story High School is that there's a deep connection there because one of your instructors there, Mr. Mike Bowman, has really been a passionate advocate for the program, hasn't he?
Yep.
Well, tell me a little about that, because I know you haven't had an opportunity to take one of Mr. Bowman's classes yet, but you had heard about it through some of the other students, hadn't you?
Yeah, Mr. Bowman has always talked about this trip a lot. He tries to get all the students to apply, and he tells everyone how like it's a great opportunity, and yeah.
Well, cool. Well, we have a little video here. We'll take a look at that.
I never dreamt I'd be a teacher, and I just fell into it. And I left the prison in 1991, and I haven't worked a day since. This is my 22nd year, I believe. I got the letter, and I started announcing it. And I've just always announced it. There's always a group of students that are interested in going to DC. And so I've been giving the same sales pitch, and I've had a really good turnout. Somewhere between probably 3 or 4 and 8 or 9 students every year that apply. And so I've been really proud of our students being interested in traveling and going to their country's capital and taking advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah, I knew other kids because like Lucas went last year and he's my grade or whatever. But I first heard about when my older sister went, and she heard about it from Mr. Bowman. So then, I don't know, and then I sort of forgot about it, and then Mr. Bowman like came into our classroom one day, and then I remembered it, and I thought I should apply. I don't know, I just remember like Megan said it was very like eye-opening because like we've been in like Iowa pretty much our whole life, and we know Iowa pretty well, but it just like showed more of the world, and you got to see like the capital, and that's pretty important, where all the important decisions are made. I think I'm sort of nervous about just like going somewhere by myself. I've never really done anything like completely by myself where I don't know anyone else. so that'll be different.
My understanding is when this program started in the 1950s, a big idea of it was we have too many people in this country that never get to our nation's capital. And we need to have more people experience that.
For as long as I can remember, I've always liked drawing and that kind of stuff. And just like in my free time, I tend to draw. Like you just get to do whatever you want. Like it's yours, you get to make it. Thinking about like the cooperative, I found it like most surprising that it was like completely member owned. Like I was surprised like no one was just like trying to get rich from it, which I thought that was really cool. That artwork for you guys is like digital stuff that I made. But I think normally like pencils is what I'm most good at, like just like black and white pencils. My stepdad grew up on like a farm, so he just always had farm animals, so then he just got chicks, and of course we loved them. We've had them for like ever since we've been here, so. I'm in lots of school things, like I'm in the theater and band and choir and that kind of stuff.
I love teaching. I want students to not only learn our history, the good and the bad, get a respect for the men and women that started this country and all of the sacrifices and the challenges we face today. Our country is at a turning point, and I'm not sure we all are aware of it. And we could have 5 people in this room and not all agree on the answers, but I think we could mostly agree on the issues. And we're supposed to govern ourselves. And Thomas Jefferson said it really simply, that in order for this experiment, democracy, to work, we must have an educated masses.
So Emma, really appreciate you inviting us out and opening your home so that we could come out and visit with you and do that video. But I'm curious, so you've had the opportunity to go on the trip now. Tell us about it. What was it? How did it go? What did you like? What were the highlights?
Well, it was just a great experience. It was the first time I really like went off and did anything like without my family. And we flew down there, which was really cool because I've only flown like one time before. So I thought that was really cool flying there. And then you just go and you meet a bunch of kids. I made some really good friends. And then we got to see a bunch of Washington. We did a lot in that week we were there, and we saw a bunch of cool stuff.
What stood out? What was something that kind of took your breath away?
Um, we went to Ford's Theater. And that was pretty cool because that's where Abraham Lincoln got shot. And it was just cool, like, to realize, like, some really big historical event happened there, and you were there too.
One of the really neat things I think, in addition to learning about American history, is you have the opportunity to learn a little bit more about the cooperative business model. And I know the students, you form your own co-op, don't you, while you're on the trip?
Yeah, we had a snack co-op, and I was actually elected onto like the board of directors. So I was the treasurer, so I helped with it a lot. So it was really cool, and it benefited everyone because we got snacks at like really cheap prices, and then we all ended up getting like money back at the end because we had made extra money. So it was really beneficial for all of us.
That's nice. Well, and again, those are some of those cooperative principles, right? Those are the benefits of whether it's an electric cooperative or a farm cooperative. That's one of the great things about the cooperative business model. Tell me, we've got some photos that we'll put up here on the screen, and it looks like, in addition, you mentioned Ford's Theater, but you guys hit all the monuments, it looks like.
Oh yeah, we went to many monuments, and for most of them, we had this amazing tour guide she taught us a lot about it, and it really just made it like sink in, and it was really cool.
And you had mentioned meeting kids from other locations, but I've seen some of these collections of like the little pins that kids have brought back from all these meeting kids from all the other states. Did you do that? Did you engage in some of that pin swapping?
Oh yeah, I traded a lot of pins. I ended up getting a bunch, and it was really cool to see kids from other states, and like I don't know, I haven't been out of Iowa much, just to see like different lifestyles, and that was all really cool.
It was, one of the questions when you had applied, we had talked a little bit about You know, if you had the opportunity to talk to kids from other states and they had never been to Iowa, what would you tell them about it? I'm curious, what did you tell kids if they hadn't been to Iowa and they asked?
Well, some of them asked us if we had like just corn everywhere and a bunch of corn. So I guess I didn't realize there was like an Iowa stereotype with corn. But I don't know, I guess I just told them like how nice Iowans are, and like it really showed because yeah.
Well, I'm curious, you know, kind of reflecting on your trip, did anything surprise you? Was there something that was just totally different than expected?
Um, like the town Washington itself, I don't know, I haven't gotten out of Iowa much, so just seeing like a town that size and like the way it works and like how like crowded the sidewalks are. I don't know. There's never crowded sidewalks here, so it's just crazy seeing that many people in the place.
So you're going to be a senior this year, is that right?
Yep.
Are you excited about that? It's kind of the end of the high school journey. What do you think about that?
I don't know. It'll be sad to leave high school, but also be exciting to start something new. I don't really know what I'm doing yet after high school though, so I'm not quite ready for it to end. I still need to figure that out.
Well, based on your submission, I teased it earlier. We'll take a look at it. Based on your submission, can I recommend a career in some type of artistic field? Because the piece you did that was accompanied your application was just fantastic. We ran it in our newsletter and it's put it up on our social media accounts as well. So we'll get that up on the screen. And I wonder, Emma, if you could just tell us a little bit about this piece and kind of the inspiration behind it.
Yeah. So when making it, I really wanted to like show off some of the cooperative principles. And I know you guys are like an electric co-op, so then I made like the light bulb, and it really stuck out to me how it was like member owned. So I like made little members on the bottom, and they're all connected, and yeah.
It's a great piece, and you did a great job as far as you really did highlight that. That's something we're really proud of here, that we are a member-owned co-op. So, last question for you, Emma, and then we'll let you go. I know you've got a busy schedule, but you know, if kids are kind of thinking about maybe applying this year, you know, we juniors, sophomores, we kind of relegated sophomores and juniors are encouraged to apply from any of our area high schools. You do not have to be a Midland Cooperative Power member. Obviously, we love it if our members, kids apply, but don't have to be. But I'm just curious if you had some advice or if someone was kind of on the fence about applying, what would you tell them?
I tell them to do it because it's a great opportunity to get out of your hometown and go see like other places, and you learn a bunch about history and you see like a bunch of important stuff. And I feel like it's important for before you go off into like being an adult in the world. So
Absolutely. And we will, for any members who are interested, we will have applications available starting usually late December is when we get those live. Those are will be up on our website at midlandpower.coop. And Emma, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us this afternoon. Really appreciate, you were a great ambassador for the co-op, and I'm thrilled you had a good time in Washington, D.C.
yes, thank you for sending me.
You are very welcome. Well deserved. Appreciate everybody joining us this afternoon. Learn a little bit more about the Electric Cooperative Youth Tour. I'm Ryan. Have a great afternoon.